We're at 324 Riddle Place in Newport, Kentucky, doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. We're looking for any structural issues, root intrusion, bellies, anything that may be of concern to the buyer. We're going in through the clean out in the stack in the rear of the basement, about the center of the basement behind the washer. We're going out to, I'm going to try to go all the way out to the main. The main is just on this side of the street, maybe a little bit in the street, but it's on the side nearest to the house. So this is cast iron above the ground, which means it's probably cast iron under the house and then switches to clay once it exits the building. So you can see there's the garage. There we go. There is the garage opening into the basement. And this is where we're going in. It should go straight out. So cast iron normally looks like this. It's rusts from the inside, and so it just has that look to it. There's a lot of, I know the house has been sitting empty, but there's a lot of spider webs, it looks like, inside here, which means the water hasn't gotten very high. There is some water sitting in there, so it has been run recently. This all looks normal. There's no real way of telling, how much life cast iron has left in it. It does rust. This all looks normal. It looks good. But usually they use cast iron under the concrete inside the house, and then once it exits, a lot of times they'll switch over to a clay line, which is a lot smoother. I mean, it is brittle, but it lasts a long time. So far this all looks really good. Sometimes you'll have almost like a channel worn away in the middle of the cast iron, which I do not see. It's nice and wide open, which is good. And so here we go. Here's the transition. We went from the cast iron here, and you'll see once we get into here it's like a red clay. And almost immediately there is some roots. It is pretty normal to get roots in clay lines, and they're only in 3-foot sections, so there's a lot of opportunity because of those spots every 3 feet that you can get some roots in there. And there's another pretty big ball of roots. I'm going to see if I can poke through all this, which I did. I was able to poke through it, but now I have some stuff on the front of the camera. So I'm thinking I should be able to go out to about 70 or 80 feet. Hopefully I can dip the camera in the main. There should be some water running in the sewer main, and maybe I can get some, we can see, there we go. Knocked a little bit off the front there. So a lot of times you can see a lot better on the way back because of that. A lot of this looks really dry, so I really don't know how long this has been empty, but I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to run some water in the stationary tub. This is definitely going to have to be cleaned. There's a lot of roots from what I could see, and that's what obviously was on the front of the camera for a while. It was just some dirt and buildup that was attached to the roots, and so I can't tell 100% how structurally sound the line is without being able to see. So the first step is going to be run some water in the stationary tub here and see if we can get a little bit of water running down through the line so we can rinse off the camera a little bit. Hopefully we'll be able to see that water soon. I do know either way this is going to have to be cleaned out. And so we won't it is concerning, but like I said, there we go, there's some water. We don't know how long this has been sitting empty. The water is making it down there, so hopefully it'll loosen this stuff up. Because this looks like, mud and roots holding on to some mud, and it's just, hopefully this will soften it up and we can punch through it here. Yeah, I can't tell if this is just old roots that have dried out or if there's actually some dirt and mud that's getting in because there's a hole in the pipe, or water is overtaking that pretty well, but if I can't get my camera past it, it could easily catch some debris, some toilet paper, anything like that. And like I said, we can't really see. I'm going to try to change the water temperature. So we went from hot water, we're going to try to run some cold water now. Sometimes we can use standoffs in these situations, but the clean out isn't big enough for me to put a large a large standoff on the front of this camera that might be able to push through this a little better. A larger opening for that. But I think what I'm going to do here is if I'm not able to get past this point, I'll have to locate the spot. It's like I'm hitting the same thing over and over again. So it may be an offset pipe. Hard to tell. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to go ahead and set my camera here. I'm going to pause the video, and I'm going to locate the line, let the water run for a little bit. I'm going to locate this spot, and then that way it's at least marked and we can see how far out I've gotten. For reference, for also when somebody cleans it, they'll know at least where I got to. They'll probably want to go all the way out to the street when they clean it, but just to try to get as much of this open as possible so that when it is re-inspected, it can be everything can be seen a lot better. So again, yeah, I'm just going to pause the video for a minute so I can go out and locate that so we don't have a bunch of dead air space. Okay, so this is in the driveway. It's about 2'10" deep to the top of the pipe. I'm going to shut this water off. We can hear a little better. But yeah, it's about 2'10" deep. It's in the driveway. It's marked with a green line. That's as far as I could get. Now, the main is only about 8 foot past this point, is where it ties into the main. The main is behind the curb on this side of the street. So, like in the yard. So, what I'm going to, and so far, I think this at the very least needs to be cleaned and re-inspected. That way we can find out what the issue is, if it's just some roots that will need to be, have some maintenance done every now and then, or whether there is, structural issues that have caused this. You can see that spot where the water is building. Looks like there's a pretty good amount of pitch on that. I'm at like 20%, or 20 degrees. And so, but there is a little dam buildup from roots, maybe some mineral deposits, and I'm unable to. I thought I might be able to poke a hole in it after it's softened up, but as you can see, that is not happening. But you can see the roots around the outside. And as I pull back, you'll be able to see probably about every section based off that tree in the front yard. There's a good deal more roots. I can't see any. That looks like sometimes, that might be some pipe damage there. Looks like there's a longitudinal crack. Where this is offset. It's 58 feet. There's some more big chunk of roots there at the next section. Like I said, these are 3 foot sections of pipe with the clay, and they give a lot of opportunity for roots. And so I think that, again, that's what we're looking at there. Another section, large section of roots. About every 3 feet, about every section has a lot of roots. Yeah. So it's a wonder I made it that far out. It's hard telling that maybe. And you know, you could have some cracks in these pipes and some broken spots, and that's why there's so many roots. But again, it's going to be really hard to tell until this is cleaned. I don't think this is the first time this has happened. It seems like the cap that's in the stack has been replaced, so it's probably been cleaned in the past. The cast iron looked really good for its age, but again, I was only able to make it out to, I mean, it was only 8 feet from the main, but still there was roots in at every section, and so that definitely has to be cleaned and re-inspected to see if structurally there's some issues, broken pipe, you know, holes in the pipe at those connections. I mean, the very least, this would require regular maintenance, say once every couple of years, having it cleaned really well, or some chemical treatments can be done at least once a year to try to mitigate the amount of roots. But we've made it all the way back to the clean out. But again, repeat for the 5th time, I think, that this definitely needs to be cleaned and re-inspected. So I will put that on the report. I've said it quite a bit, and it's pretty evident this is due for a cleaning. But that will end the inspection at 324 Riddle Place in Newport, Kentucky.